Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Edward Kingson was the third character I came up with when designing my story. If you're wondering who the first and second were, they are the Legion Games announcer and Zariel Dustage, or Mystic. My original take on the character of Edward Kingson was a much more serious and over-the-top main character who relished killing and was constantly stern. Then I realized that would make a ludicrously boring main character. Instead, I elected for the outwardly snappy and silently selfish main character that is Eddie. Eddie thinks, number one, of himself. It will still form bonds with those around him through his sarcasm and wit. He inevitably wants to be immortal and scam his own country out of a leader, but chooses to do so without sacrificing his comrades. In the end, Edward's goal is inherently selfish, yet he tries his best to mitigate it by assisting his allies in their endeavors. Perhaps he does this because he feels guilty about his goal. Perhaps he does it simply because he wants to be kind. As the reader, you are free to interpret Eddie's actions any way you like. But I'd like to think Edward does what he does because he feels it is his purpose to fight in the Legion Games, and as such, it is his purpose to assist those who fight alongside him. Edward, of course, speaks with an English accent. Yet the country of Stylemoth is so vast and diverse, and Luminescent City is so populated and packed, that such an accent is only one of many in the city. I think the accent sets him apart from his peers, as someone who is of course a member of Serration, yet still an outlier. He's not in the games for power, like the rest of the players, only life and purpose. Of course, his appearance also sets him apart. Edward has poliosis, a condition that leaves part or multiple parts of one's hair white. This unique hair is a part of Edward's character, symbolizing a past life or perhaps a life since forgotten. What does that mean, you ask? You'll have to wait to read the book yourself to find out. Despite being only the third character I came up with, Edward's banner was the first banner I invented. And it was the anchor for all other banners I invented. I didn't want the characters flailing around basic weapons like a sword or a gun. I never wanted the main characters especially to have anything that was uniquely designed to hurt, at least at face value. Naturally, the characters discover how to fight with their banners later on in the story, but at first glance, I wanted confusion in order to lead to discovery. Now, it is here I must warn you, there are minor spoilers ahead. If you don't wish to hear them, please skip to the timestamp on screen now. Edward's banner is given to him in Chapter 3, a set of black gloves. At first, Eddie has no idea what he has, and cannot figure out how to use his gloves. In Chapter 6, Eddie finds out that by flexing his hands, he can make claws appear on his gloves. At first, he believes this to be their only ability, yet later on in the story, he discovers that the gloves also allow him to manually change his own momentum. This is a powerful ability, and it allows Edward to move in unpredictable and chaotic ways. In a funny turn of events, this ability gave way to Edward's nickname, Cerberus. In the story, of course, the banners are given based on the nickname. I thought of Edward fighting like a wild dog, jumping and scratching in a chaotic manner. Further on in the story, Eddie discovers more abilities, but those I will not be discussing today. Edward's banner is, in my opinion, one of the lesser creative banners, but I still think it earns its spot as my second favorite banner, just behind Arteries. Edward is a fighter, someone who faces challenges head on, and someone who refuses to let any setback stop him from achieving his goal. He waited a long time for the Legion Games to be announced, and he won't let himself be defeated. Edward Kingson, Cerberus, is a strong and determined young man whose loose morals and sharp attitude guide him through the twisted Legion Games, and hopefully brings him the immortality he so desires. Edward Kingson is not just the main character of Vaporwave Sunrise. He is Cerberus. He is the king of the underworld. He is the clawed dog of Serration, and he is the narrator of my story. That is who he is to me. But who is Edward Kingson to you? Thank you for listening. The next character deep dive will be on Serration's own inventor, a celebrity, a super genius, and the worst secret steel tech ever tried to hide, Bob Glass, aka Assembly. It will be released in the coming days alongside Chapter 4. These can all be found at my YouTube at Vaporwave Sunrise Book. Once again, thank you, and have a great day.